And how Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala told her in that moment that وَأُوحَيْنَا إِلَىٰ أُمِّ مُوسَىٰ أَنْ أَرْضِعِهِ فَإِذَا خِفْتِ عَلَيْهِ فَأَلْقِهِ فِي الْيَمِّ. Go ahead and put him into the river. وَلَا تَخَافِي وَلَا تَحْزَنِي. That do not fear and do not grieve. What does Allah say? إِنَّ رَادُهُ إِلَيْكَ وَجَعِلُهُ مِنَ الْمُرْسَلِينَ. We're going to return him right back to you. And so eventually he makes his way to Pharaoh's house. Pharaoh takes him in. فَالْتَقَطَهُ آلُ فِرْعَوْنَ. But interestingly enough, the way Allah says it is, the family of Pharaoh picked him up لِيَكُونَ لَهُمْ عَدُوًا وَحَزَنًا. Why? So that he becomes for them an enemy and a cause of grief. Meaning they don't know that, but that is actually why they picked him up. It's a way of saying that. Did everyone understand that point or no? I'll say it one more time. The family of Pharaoh picked him up, the Alu Fir'aun, they picked him up. Because in the river he came near their house and then they took him out. But Allah says they grabbed him لِيَكُونَ لَهُمْ عَدُوًا وَحَزَنًا, so that he would be an enemy for them and a source of grief. And Allah says, إِنَّ فِرْعَوْنَ وَهَامَانَ وَجُنُودَهُمَا كَانُوا خَاطِئِينَ. Pharaoh, Haman, and his armies were mistaken. They were mistaken in that they picked him up and they didn't realize this was the very person that was going to be their downfall. Because the whole thing behind Pharaoh's psychology was what? That I have to be in charge, no matter what. And the potential of someone taking his throne caused them to institute the kill order to kill all the baby boys. But Allah is saying they picked him up actually for him to be the very enemy that they sought to avoid. SubhanAllah. So then what happens is, Asiya, the wife of Fir'aun, قالت امرأة فرعون قرة عين لي ولد لا تقتلوه عسى أن ينفعنا أو نتخذه ولدا. She tells him that, he is the coolness of my eyes, don't kill him, perhaps he will benefit us or we will take him as a son. By the way, where does this exact same sentence come? Where else? In which story? عسى أن ينفعنا أو نتخذه ولدا, where they said, perhaps he will be of benefit to us or we can take him as a son. Yusuf. You guys, did I mention it that day? Okay. So yes, in Yusuf alayhi salam's story, it's the exact same sentence, but who says it there? The minister tells the wife what? That let's take him as a son, because perhaps he can benefit us, or we can take him as a son. And here, who's saying it? The wife of Pharaoh is saying it, that perhaps he'll be a benefit to us, or we can take him as a son. Okay, there's a lot of really amazing, even nuances, just a few verses, but there's one part that I really want to focus on. Then afterwards, eventually, how does Allah return him back? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, وَحَرَّمْنَا عَلَيْهِ الْمَرَاضِعَ. All the wet nurses that tried to make Musa alayhi salam drink milk, he refused to drink from any one of them. So then, who comes? The sister comes and tells him, هَلْ أَدُلُّكُمْ عَلَىٰ أَهْلِ بَيْتٍ يَكْفُلُونَهُ لَكُمْ وَهُمْ لَهُ نَاصِحُونَ. I can tell you of a house that can take care of him. فَرَدَدْنَاهُ إِلَىٰ أُمِّهِ كَيْ تَقَرَّ عَيْنُهَا وَلَا تَحْزَنَ. And Allah says that then we returned Musa alayhi salam back to his mother so that her eyes could find comfort and she would not grieve. Interestingly enough, who says قُرَّةُ عَيْنَ لِي وَلَكَ? Asiya. قُرَّةُ عَيْن means like the coolness of the eyes. Interestingly enough, it was Asiya who says this, that let's take him so he'll be a coolness of eyes. And then Allah says, we returned him back to his mother so that he could actually be the coolness of her eyes for her. SubhanAllah. So there's a lot of literary and slight differences in how the story is told in different parts, and there's there's so much amazing stuff in each part. Anyways, so Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, وَلَمَّا بَلَغَ أَشُدَّهُ وَاسْتَوَىٰ آتَيْنَاهُ حُكْمًا وَعِلْمًا. When he reached maturity and he became, he reached full strength and maturity, then what did we do? We gave him wisdom and knowledge, and you can understand this maybe to be prophethood. Now, he eventually gets to this place and he sees these two people fighting. So you have to understand, Musa alayhi salam grew up in Pharaoh's household. So what does that mean? That means he saw Pharaoh his whole life oppressing the very people that he is from, the children of Israel. So now he sees, who? He sees two people fighting. One was from the Egyptians, and one was from the Bani Israel, the children of Israel. He sees them both fighting. And then what happens is, فَاسْتَغَاثَهُ الَّذِي مِنْ شِيعَتِهِ عَلَى الَّذِي مِنْ عَدُوِهِ. So the one from his own group called for help against the one from his enemies. Like basically, you're part of me, help me. فَوَكَزَهُ مُوسَى. So he punched him. He punched who? The enemy. فَقَضَى عَلَيْهِ. And as a result, he died. We can effectively say he was one punch man. Right? فَوَكَزَهُ مُوسَى فَقَضَى عَلَيْهِ. He punched him once and he died. And then what did he say? قَالَ هَذَا مِنْ عَمَلِ الشَّيْطَانِ. He said this is some of Shaitan's acts. إِنَّهُ عَدُوٌّ مُضِلٌّ مُبِينٌ. Okay, then eventually what happens, to skim because we don't have that much time, what happens, he has to leave the city, because he comes back the next day, same thing happens, the guy's in a fight again, and he's like, you're a troublemaker. You're no good. But then someone comes, فَخَرَجَ, we just read in the Taraweeh, فَخَرَجَ مِنْهَا was it? وقال رجل من أقصى المدينة يسعى قال يا موسى إن الملأ يأتمرون بك ليقتلوك فاخرج إني لك من الناصحين. A man comes running to Musa alayhi salam saying, you need to get out of the city. The chiefs are counseling each other, they're conspiring each other to kill you. Because what did he do? Pharaoh's own adopted son has killed one of Pharaoh's people. That is a big no-no. Can't do that, right? Because the children of Israel, Bani Israel, were always meant to be under the Egyptians' thumb. So this was a very bad public statement that he could get away with something like that. Does that make sense to everybody? So politically, it was also an issue, and that's why that guy said, you need to get out of here. So he leaves, فَخَرَجَ مِنْهَا خَائِفًا يَتَرَقَّبُ. So he leaves in this state of fear and caution. And he says, قَالَ رَبِّي نَجِّنِي مِنَ الْقَوْمِ الظَّالِمِينَ. Deliver me from the wrongdoing people. Now, if you think about it, he leaves his home, he doesn't have any family anymore, no financial support, nothing. I mean, Musa alayhi salam is on his last legs. In terms of like dunya, from a dunya perspective, from a worldly perspective, he doesn't have much going for him at this point. Now he goes to another place. وَلَمَّا وَرَدَ مَاءَ مَدْيَنَ وَجَدَ عَلَيْهِ أُمَّةً مِنَ النَّاسِ يَسْقُونَ. He found some people watering their animals. And if you think about it, no money. What else? Because he didn't have time to back. فَخَرَجَ مِنْهَا خَائِفًا يَتَرَقَّبُ. Right? He doesn't have no support. He doesn't have no companion. Nobody's with him. Completely disconnected from. And if you have to understand, if you're Pharaoh's son, what did you grow up in? Luxury or hardship? Grew up in luxury. So now he no longer has the luxury of food and water and animals and everything that he used to have. So he gets here, وَلَمَّا وَرَدَ مَاءَ مَدْيَنَ. And you think like, someone who is now in another country, foreign to that country or that city, what the last thing you're going to do, what is the first thing you're going to want to do is what? Get some water or shelter. Take care of yourself. He sees two women that need help. He goes up to them and he says, قَالَ مَا خَطْبُكُمَا. What's wrong? Is everything okay? قَالَتَا لَا نَسْقِي حَتَّى يُصْدِرَ الرِّعَاءُ وَأَبُونَا شَيْخٌ كَبِيرٌ. We cannot water our animals until these shepherds take their animals back after watering them. And then they mention specifically, وَأَبُونَا شَيْخٌ كَبِيرٌ, and our father is a very old man. Why do they mention that? Because we wouldn't be doing this work, but we're doing it because who? Our father is old. So otherwise he would be here, but we are here doing that work. So this is the amazing part. فَسَقَى لَهُمَا ثُمَّ تَوَلَّى إِلَى الظِّلِّ. After all that journey and everything that he did, what happens is Musa alayhi salam does this act of good and he just goes back. And he just goes sits under a tree. No, thank you, by the way, can I get some money, some dinero, a little bit for my troubles? In Pakistan, what they say is, whenever somebody's loading up the cart or something for you at the airport or something, and this is common in a lot of countries, by the way. After that, they say chai pani, meaning like chai, pani. Pani means water. What do they mean? Give me a little bit money for the work that I've done. So even Musa alayhi salam doesn't do anything like that. He just does that good deed and he goes sits down. And he makes dua to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. It's a very beautiful dua. We should all memorize it. Rabbi inni lima anzalta ilayya min khayrin faqir. It's a very beautiful dua. Rabbi, oh my Lord, I am in need. I am faqir, like in desperate need. Faqir is someone who doesn't really have much. I am in need of any good you can give me. Lima anzalta ilayya min khayrin faqir. Another way to translate it is I am truly, you can put in parentheses, desperate need of whatever provision you may have in store for me. Both meanings convey the same idea. So what happens as a result? Because of that dua, فَجَاءَتْهُ إِحْدَاهُمَا تَمْشِي عَلَى اسْتِحْيَاءٍ قَالَتْ إِنَّ أَبِي يَدْعُوكَ لِيَجْزِيَكَ أَجْرَ مَا سَقَيْتَ لَنَا. So she comes back. I'm just going to paraphrase. We don't have time to go ayah by ayah. She comes back. One of the two girls that he helped, the woman that he helped, she says, my father wants to hire you. He goes back. And then what does she tell her father? She nudges her father. قَالَ يَا أَبَتِي إِنَّ maybe you should hire him. إِنَّ خَيْرَ مَنِ اسْتَأْجَرْتَ الْقَوِيُّ الْأَمِينُ. The best people that you can hire are people who are strong, who are trustworthy. Because all those men that were there, nobody decided to help them. And they're part of what? The same land. Musa alayhi salam went out of his way to go help them. So that is a quality that she liked. So what do we learn from this? The brothers should help out a lot more. And inshallah they can get a nikah proposal, inshallah. But honestly, after he made this dua, what did Allah instantly give him? Within a few moments, he got an opportunity to get work. Because the father said, you work for me, and then in return, I will marry you off to one of my daughters. So he gets work. He gets a wife. He gets shelter. All the things that you need, he got it after reading that dua. And so, that dua is very powerful. So if we are ever in need of anything, we should read that dua. Rabbi, inni lima anzalta ilayya min khairin faqir. Rabbi, inni lima anzalta ilayya min khairin faqir. For those who want to look at it after, it's in Surah Qasas, verse number 24. Surah Qasas, verse number 24, inshallah. And there's a lot more to say. Surah Qasas, chapter 28, by the way. Chapter 28, verse 24, for those who want to look at the dua after. But this is a very important point that Musa alayhi salam did that good deed for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and he expected nothing in return. Even when he went to their house, according to some narration, they put some food in front of him. Some say the old man, their father was Shu'aib alayhi salam, wallahu alam. But they put the food in front of him, and he says, I'm not here to take food in return for my service. And he says, no, this is our habit. We feed our guests, right? So this shows you the prophets, they had a very high standard. They were doing things, do good deeds, good acts, help people, serve people for the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And we should try to incorporate that. So in these last 10 nights that are coming up, aside from ibadah, we should also try to be more generous, give more, serve more, whatever we can in any capacity. This is something that we should do in the spirit of what we learned from Musa alayhi salam. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to give us the ability to act on what we have said, what we've heard. Subhanallah wa bihamdihi, subhanakallahumma wa bihamdika, ashhadu an la ilaha illa anta astaghfiruka wa atubu ilayk.